Take me away from home. Show me all the places I've never known. And we'll chase the night, race all of these broken dreams in flight. And we'll fly. Oh, we'll fly away.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jay Wiggs, and we're here today with a faction challenge, more specifically, the Creature Creation Challenge. And it was certainly a challenge because you weren't allowed to use any art or images. You had to create a creature, and you only had to describe it using words, which I've gotta say, that's certainly something difficult. First things first, I've got with me over here, okay, let me explain the backstory behind this. So yesterday, Sunday night, I usually spend some time with my family. We decided to do some arts and crafts, so we took some clay out and decided to play with some clay. So what I've created over here, let's see if you all can see it, I've created a little firstborn youngling. That's right, he's so cute. I absolutely love the dude. I'm not exactly sure what to call him. I'll call him something, but for now, he needs to dry a little bit. It's some sort of air dry clay that I use. He's going to sit over here. Make sure you can see that. I love him. He's awesome. Right. So now that the firstborn youngling has been taken care of, you can, glance at him. I'll probably paint him as well. Probably paint him with some, earth colors, some gray, some brown. Right, anyway, the next thing that I'm going to take care of is we are going to go over to Discord. You can see it should be above me, we have little blocklings. Ooh, I bumped the mic. We've got little blocklings, right. So, you can see some of you already have a special skin. You can claim a free skin for now because I haven't had a shop set up. So for now, if you type in !shop and you press enter, that will give you the dirt skin or the silt skin or whatever it is. It's the dirt looking skin. We've got 3 variants of dirt. Also, right after this stream, I will be working more on this thing above me. We will actually be putting in a shop right after this. But without further ado, let us get going with our creature creations. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, there's a link to the Google Doc regarding, information since I am storing, your username, and we've got currency. You can't currently see your currency, but if you stay active in the chat, you'll be able to earn some money, which later I'll be, tweaking. I don't know why the currency isn't visible. I must have commented that out. But you can throw in, you can get some extra currency, which you will later be able to use to buy some cool skins. Type where and how do you control it. Currently, you cannot control these guys. These guys just kind of run around, and you type into the YouTube chat. So wherever you're typing to chat, yep, just type there, and that's where all the commands will be. There's also an exclamation skin. So exclamation's like the prefix for all the commands. There's a skin command, which you can use to randomly choose between one of your skins if you've got more than one. So if you want to go back to your sand skin, you can press exclamation mark and you can switch skins just like that. I can see some square cubes because of, also I probably want some nickname stuff. I also want some nickname changes so that you guys with some giant squares in names can be able to get rid of those. But first, we're going to get right into it. Judging. Let's talk about judging for this. So what I've decided to do is, because I haven't exactly gone through each and every one of these just yet, I haven't counted up how many each faction has. So what we're going to do is we're going to be giving out points. I could give out crystals, but that's a little bit confusing in my brain. So we're going to be giving out points based on each of the submissions. So some of the submissions will get 0 points. Some of the submissions will get, let's say, 1 point, and some of the submissions will get 2 points. And later, these points at the end of the stream, I will convert these into weapons. So because the points might not correlate directly with how many weapons you get, it might be like a factor, it might be scaled, it might be multiplied by a certain number. Either way, you still want as many points, so that at the end of the stream, I'll tell you how many weapons you will be earning for your faction. Right, let's get right into it. There are a lot to go through. I can kind of see there are quite a number, and most of them are links to Google Docs, so you could fit even more than just the 2,000 text in here. So, right, first one we have is by Insignific. We have, let's make sure you all can see this. Yep, you all can see this is just nice and beautiful. Right, we have a giant sea leviathan, gigantic monsters feeding off fallen islands that fell in battle, or for adventurers that went too deep. They can be described as abnormally shaped creatures with a bony, somewhat rocky exterior, with a profound black to get as much sunlight from the hellhole as it can. These creatures vary in shape and size and shape, and tend to look a bit like sea creatures from before the world split. Also, they fly like they're in water, and stay close to what once was the earth. So it's a sea leviathan, that feeds off fallen islands in battle, but it flies. That's pretty interesting. That is certainly interesting. I'm gonna give this 1 point. It's cool. So Strike gets 1 point right here. Actually, I think I'll have 1, 2, or 3 points and 0 points as well. Just there's more range and variety. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Right. The next one we have is by Meep, and it's a J. Wigglesaurus Rex. Which, this is a joke, and I'm pretty sure it's a joke, so I'll treat it like a joke. Setting, rarely seen roaming large islands in small groups. Lived during the Golden Age, but died off over time for unknown reasons. Some believe it was because of the void, but hey, that's just the theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Just kidding. We're back to this. Right, description. Sporting a particularly Asian appearance with an American accent, whatever the heck that means in IIsla. People believed it was an interesting combination, somewhat similar to humans and slightly reptilian. Warm-blooded, about the same size as humans, crossbreeding possible between them and humans. What is that? A J. Wigglesaurus Rex? Possible crossbreeding between humans? Okay. At this point, call them Neanderthals. Behavior is omnivorous, meaning it eats both plants and animals, and will hunt small animals and pick out wild plants. As smart as dolphins, diurnal, I think that means it's both awake in the day and the night. Believe that if given 1,000 or 2 years and some outside help, they could have evolved into an intellect's 4th race. Interactions, peaceful against larger creatures, runs if attacked or recognizes a nearby predator. Honestly, what I'm picturing in my mind for this is the T-Rex from the Chrome game. I'm just picturing a little T-Rex running around, so I don't exactly see the Asian appearance with an American accent. Not quite sure how that fits into it, but I'm giving this a grand total of 0 points. Because actually, okay, fine. I'll give this 1 point. I'll give it 1 point for effort, and I'll give it 1 point for effort. But just barely a point. You know what? I'll just make this a fraction of a point. We'll give this like 0.1 points. 0.1 points. So in the case of a tie, it barely will edge you out over the other factions, but just barely. Right, the next one we have is... Wait, type... Okay, it's a reference to me. Obviously, the J. Wigglesaurus Rex is a reference to me. Wait, where you type exclamation who again? I'm sorry, I don't quite get that question. A grand total of 0 points. Yes, he got his grand total of 0.001 points. 1 divided by infinity. I'm not exactly sure. I think and I'm not going to do the math at this point. It's a small number, but just barely above 0. Run Along by Tsume. Setting, the Run-Alongs travel in small groups of 3 to 7 individuals through the skies of IIsla. They're not limited known to be limited to certain areas, but are most often seen in peaceful regions. Okay, so the Run-Along is a shape-shifting creature who is most often seen in one of 2 forms, a land-based one and a flying one. In both cases, they are most often described as pitch-black creatures that roughly have the shape of a large dog or a large bird without distinct features. The land form has about shoulder height, okay, about 4, wow, that's a big dog. Oh, shape of a large dog, so it's more like a horse. If it has shoulder height, it's more like a small horse. The land form is a shoulder height of about 4 feet, whereas the bird form has a wingspan of between 8 to 20 feet. Wow, so it turns into a giant eagle. So it's like a horse that transforms into the eagle. Like a griffin. So it's like a giant griffin. Yeah, I guess it's a griffin. It's like a lion, but only choose like one at a time. A griffin's like a mix between a lion and an eagle. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. As stated, they're fairly nondescript and making no sounds. Only the wind rushing along their wings or their feet slamming onto the ground can be heard. It's unknown whether they have organs or a skeleton, although they act as if they do. I'm not sure if shape-shifting creatures would have much of a skeleton. I mean, they probably would, but that would have to be some very flexible skeleton. They're not visible to most individuals except small children up to the age of 12 and bored people on long journeys looking into the distance. They're never stagnant, always traveling, so their eating, sleeping, and reproductive behaviors are unknown. Sounds like some sort of evasive creature. That's kind of like the thing that parents tell their kids, like, oh, don't do this or else the Run-Along is going to get you. Something like that. Shape-shifting creatures could be like the firstborn, possibly. Behavior, Run-Alongs tend to follow traveling individuals in their usual groups. They're neither aggressive nor skittish. They simply fly or run along with travelers. Run-Alongs seem to vanish into nothingness if the observing individual gets too close or their journey comes to an end. Their journey comes to an end? Okay. They cannot be outrun or be led astray. They always follow perfectly like a clockwork. Interactions, no direct interactions have been made with this species. There have been individuals who have tried to capture run-alongs, only for them to disappear as always. Some believe that they are death incarnate and bring souls lost during travels to the afterlife. Others believe that they are good omens that prophesize peaceful travel, yet others believe that they are a force of nature that feed on negative emotions. But most likely the truth will be hidden. I'm giving this, well, I'm not exactly sure. I haven't read through any of those submissions, but this is really good. I'm going to give this one a grand total of 3. So strike now have 4, and I can't tally, it seems, because I put a cross through my tally. Okay, wow. If that is the standard, I'm going to be reading a lot. I'm better make sure I have my water very close by, because I'm going to be doing a lot of talking during this stream. Right. The next one we have is by Dr. Victor. Maybe I should have kept the limit as 2. Because 3 per person, we're going to have quite a bit to get through. So I apologize if I read this very, very quickly. Next one we have is the blood base. Ooh, lots of words. This is by Dr. Victor. This is Nova. That's the standard. There are many better. Oh, wow. Okay, there are going to be some pretty good. Blood base. You can find blood bases in just about every large water source. Their genetic mutations allow them to live in both fresh and salt waters. This is a fish that was created during the collapse when normal fish, bases in this case, received many mysterious genetic mutations. The cause of these mutations appeared to be the exploding cortex. However, this has never been proved, and it's possible that some other strange force brought about these mutations. Description. At a quick glance, the blood base may seem just like another gray-green fish swimming in the lake until you notice the army of small red dots that cover the base. Then that's where part of the blood comes from. However, these red dots and their powers are the only mutation of the blood bases. Thus, it's unable to survive on land and can only swim in water, rendering its flying capabilities useless. Wait, I thought it's a fish. I thought it was a fish. Wait, flying? Just like any normal fish, the blood base does not make any sounds as far as the intellects can tell, but there have been signs that blood bases can communicate with other fish, although the methods are unknown. Blood bases tend to feed on the various plants and small animals that they may encounter. The red dots that cover the blood base's body are able to release an extremely dangerous neurotoxin that paralyzes any living creature that comes into contact with it, including intellectuals. The blood base is able to then release more chemicals which can quickly break down your outer protection, such as your skin, and it can even destroy your bones. Naturally, the blood base is completely immune to these lethal chemicals, so after its victim has been paralyzed and half-eaten, the blood base gobbles up the remains to fuel the fish for the future. The blood base does not have a clear sleep cycle, and schools of blood bases have been found with members both asleep and awake. You can't see the docks. Oh, garbage. You can't see the docks. My bad. I forgot. You can't see the docks. That's right. I have to switch between these two as I switch. Ah, that's right. Now you can see the docks. I hope so. Right. Interactions. Many intellects have been able to safely catch and consume blood bases as their potent chemicals do not spread well outside of water. However, these fish need to be carefully prepared to make sure there are no traces of these fatal substances. It is advised that you stay far away from blood bases when in water if you want to avoid death. Although not a common food source for intellects, there are many places that prepare and serve blood bases as a delicacy. I would assume that a dangerous animal like this would be a delicacy, much like the lionfish or like stingray, due to its interesting taste and texture. However, not many other creatures are able to eat blood bases, as they will most likely die trying. There are few species of both land and sea animals that have developed ways to safely eat blood bases and avoid the consequences of toxins, but a lot of them have died driven to extinction, courtesy of the intellects and other creatures hunting them down. Very nice. Wow, you didn't think you'd sink that low. Yeah, I didn't think I'd sink that low. If you didn't say anything, I would have totally forgotten. I would have totally forgotten that I actually had to switch. Right, back to Discord. Blood base. Blood base was really good. I'm gonna give it a standard. I'm gonna give it a 2. Right. I'm gonna give you a 2. So 2 points for Nova. And okay, what exactly am I looking for a 2? Or 2 is going to be most likely the normal. A 3, what's a 3 going to be? A 3 is going to be a creature that absolutely stands out, is incredibly unique, and fits the world of IIsla very, very well. Next one is by Kitchen from the Nova faction. It's going to be the drone, or the drawn. Please note these are technically the same creature, but a different type. So this isn't in both of my submissions. Okay. So the real name is the drown. It's the drown. Drown, not drone. It might be drone. If only you didn't say anything. Yeah, maybe increase the maximum to 4. If we increase the maximum to 4, we'd be here all night. Right, so this is the drown. I'm just gonna call this, I think that's a drone. I'm gonna call this the drone. Because that the OHN makes me want to say own and not own. I didn't switch again. Oh, you gotta be kidding. Oh, this is gonna be a common theme of me not remembering to switch. Maybe, if I do this, then you can see, yeah, then you can see that. Right, if I do this, then I don't have to worry about switching at all. Here we go. Now I don't have to worry about switching, which is completely fine with me. I'm okay with that. Right, the setting. Trawlers, wait, trawlers? Okay, so there's three types of drones. You have the trawler, the super, and plummeter, depending on where you are. So 2 types of them. Okay, so it's the same creature. Got it. So this isn't 2 submissions. Okay, so different types, right. So trawlers are endemic to areas near the cortex and are commonly used as a free form of transport by merchants that are low on cash. Okay, so this is a rather larger creature. I'm assuming it can fly. Supers are native to maelstrom fields. Ooh, a massive area that has very few hospitable islands for Tellurians. Humans as well as other types due to having gigastorms which decimate almost any island. I like the idea of maelstrom fields. I very much like that. And far reaches, sparsely inhabited only by the few that luck their way through the fields. Ooh, I like it. So, both of the species have armored heads with an isosceles trapezium shape from the top. Okay, and a scalene trapezium from the side. Okay, I'm having trouble picturing that, but sure. The head tapers also towards the bottom, giving it a semi-triangular shape up the front. There are also 2 sets of wing-like fins. A larger pair down towards the front of the body and a smaller pair towards the end. Okay, so it's like a flying fish. There's a large I need to stop hitting my microphone. There's a large pair of wings in the front and then like a small pair of wings in the back. Okay. I'm thinking, yep, this is like a giant flying snake. They are 100 to 110 meters long, bloated, whereas the supers are sleeker and smaller. And their tails also differ, with trawlers being long, triangular, and supers having a short stem with a kite shape. Color-wise, trawlers are pale blue to mid-gray tones. Supers are black and have a bright contrasting color. Okay. In a range of patterns such as a long stripe from head to tail, or spots or tips, along where areas such as the edges of its fins and dorsal spines or tail have black accents. Right, both types are omnivorous, where swoopers are more carnivore-based. They have more recurve. Okay, swoopers sometimes have horns that curve round towards the front of their heads. They both have 2 eyes that are black and bead-like with minimal rotational movement. Due to this, they have a small channel in their skull so they can see forward easily. The trawler has a blubber-like skin and flesh similar to that of whales and swoopers and more tough armor-like. Think of it similar to dinosaur skin. Trawlers are extremely docile, so they are easy to tame from the wild. Okay, so this seems like trawlers and swoopers seem like your horse of the sky. It seems like they're easily tameable, they're docile, and they can allow you to fly around. Oh, downside, they're territorial, aggressive, attacking almost anything it deems as a threat. Okay, but they're pretty easy to tame. Interactions, trawlers are used as a common mode of travel for poorer people who don't own their island and wish to travel long distances. Swoopers are encountered near maelstrom fields and far reaches, doing more submission damages. Wait, the submissions aren't closed? You're right, these submissions aren't closed. Let's close that off right now. I'm sorry, guys, but we're gonna have to close it sometime, so time to close it. Thank you for reminding me. Submissions are now closed. Right, interactions, yeah. I like this. I like the idea of maelstrom fields as well. And for that, I'm going to give you 3 points for this. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Very nice. Alright, next by Dr. Victor. This is the Violent Imp. It's an intelligent land creature. Ooh. Nice. Actually, what I should have done, because these are very long, is I should have limited it to the 2,000 character limit from Discord. Because that way, I mean, these are really great, but it's a lot. Setting. The Violent Imp likes to live in all sorts of places, whether it's the Skolin Desert, the freezing Arctic, or even in an abandoned warehouse. You can always find one of these pesky creatures somewhere. There are many different violent imps that live in many different environments, as they're able to adapt and survive in many different conditions. Us humans have only seen these creatures after the events of the exploding cortex, which is called the collapse. However, it's very unlikely that violent imps were living secretly in the shadows before. It is very likely. There are many violent imps present today that survive on islands, hiding from humans and other threats that may exist in the realms. As the name suggests, they're violent in color. However, the shade of skin can vary based on environmental and genetic factors. Lighter tones in hot places. They're quite small and grow up to 5 feet tall, or 150 centimeters. That's slightly shorter than your average human height. Yes, violets in color, not violence in color. Violets in color. Their skin is just like a human's. Oh, right, I missed a sentence. Their skeletal structure is similar to that of a human. However, their distinct difference is their arms are much longer. Okay, so like Enderman, but shorter than a human. Their skin is just like a human's, although slightly tougher and without the hairiness. Okay, dinosaur-like skin. In fact, violet imps do not grow any easily visible hair. So they have tiny hairs that cover their arms and legs to allow them to feel changes in the atmosphere. They do not biologically have a way to fly, but that does not stop them from constructing makeshift wings. Wow, these guys sound really smart. They are most likely strange descendants from our ancestors many years ago, as they are fairly similar to humans, but they could also be some strange offspring created during the collapse. You can sometimes hear howls or distant growls. These are most likely the noises that violent imps make when in danger, which is their way of scaring off deadly predators. They communicate in a strange dialect, and you can sometimes make out clear words. For the most part, it sounds like gibberish. Their language has referred to as impish, Garblingen, or the imp language. Behavior. The violent imps enjoy lurking in the darkness and exploring various places. Hence, they're nocturnal. They do not have night vision, so they rely on other senses, primarily touch and smell, in combination with their light-emitting tools. Light-emitting tools, cool. Their diet consists of anything edible, so they're omnivores. They eat everything, they're cannibals. They even eat imp flesh. Does that include themselves? However, they're intelligent enough to be able to cook their own food to unlock its full potential without putting their life at risk. Wow, these guys seem really, really smart. Yeah, I'm getting goblin feels. I'm getting goblin feels from them. They're most likely the noises that violent imp makes. Oh, you can sometimes hear eerie howls or distant growls. These are most likely the noises that violent imps make when in danger, which is their way of scaring off deadly. Did I already read that? Violent imps enjoy creating traps to take down larger, more powerful creatures. Yeah, these seem very much like goblins. They like to hunt in small packs and use sharp tools to assist them in catching other creatures. Interactions. They are peaceful yet mischievous. They normally stay away from intellects, but that doesn't stop them from catching the ones that venture out too far. Kind of like, okay. Kind of like Ewoks, they trap humans. It's advised to run very, very fast if you see a violet imp. I keep saying violent imp. A violet imp. As it is very likely that you might become a target of their hunting. Fortunately, there are very few violent imps that live near built-up areas or even on populated islands, so you'll be safe most of the time. They rarely build their own camps, as they like to travel a lot, but do sometimes rest in long-forgotten structures. The high intelligence makes them impossible to domesticate, and captive imps refuse to cooperate. They are difficult creatures to catch, which is normally they are the predator and not the prey. There are no known cases where violent imps have tried to communicate with humans, so it's unlikely that any kind of treaty or alliance will be made with these creatures in the near future. I keep saying violent imp. Yes, I keep saying violent imp. Violet imp. Violet imp. I said it again. Violet imp. Oh, man, that's hard. That's hard. You try talking this fast and say violet imp. Violet imp. Okay, there we go. Right, I like it. I'm going to give this one a 2 because I don't think you might find these are very intelligent creatures, and most of the creatures in IIsla, I would say, would be rather dumb. Catching humans does seem interesting. It's a good idea. I'll give Nova 2 points for that one. Next up, we have Isaac. Ooh, nice red color with the swirloop. And yay, lovely. The swirloop is mainly an urban creature loved by many citizens of IIsla for its friendliness and cuteness, indigenous to Meadow Islands. It's been around since the Golden Ages. The main difference between present day and the Golden Age is its shrinkage in size, so it's grown smaller over the years. It's similar to a bunny, has a short fluffy tail spanning around 4 to 5 inches. The size grows throughout adulthood up to 7 to 8 inches. Its genes determine if it has stiff or floppy ears. It also has 3 different varieties of color, being brown, gray, and white. Okay, so the main defining feature of the swirlop is swirlop or swirloop? Swirlop. I think it's swirlop. I think it's Swirlop. And what gives it its name is that it's an antenna-like appendage on its forehead, shaped like a spring. Oh, that's cute. The swirl is fluffy and pretty bouncy too. Swirlops like being pet on their swirls. Legends say that if you pet a white Swirlop swirl, you get good luck for the next few days. It has relatively thin bones, allowing it to jump great distances of 4 feet. Wow, that's pretty good. This tends to startle people that haven't come across a Swirlop before. Oh, I like this one. I like this one. The Swirlop makes a cute squeak when it's happy and a long, sorrowful squeak when it's sad. Although it doesn't really make any sounds, it communicates with other Swirlops using ultra-high frequencies that humans cannot hear. Some ascendants have been studied to get dizzy from these ultra-high frequencies, so they tend to shoot off Swirlops on sight. The Swirlop has also been studied to absolutely hate industrial environments. This includes factories, power plants, and the famous Novan Collider. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like that you guys are building lore in this as well. Like, what was it called? Maelstrom Fields and the Novan Collider. Very nice. Some Swirlops have even been recorded to glare at power lines. It's still unknown why this happens. There are many hypotheses about this behavior. Swirlop has a passive, friendly behavior, often nuzzling up to any human or ascendant. They're a bit more hesitant about approaching Tellurians, though. Its prey consists of a lot of creatures, but it can easily get away because of its high jump. The Swirlop is diurnal, which is opposite. Oh, it's the opposite of nocturnal. That's right. That's right. So diurnal basically means that it just they're awake through the day. They're normal. They're not nocturnal. Thank you for clarifying that up for me, making interaction easy throughout the day. They're omnivorous. Feeding them bread's not recommended since they can get very fat from it easily. They have a hard time eating foods like steak since their jaw isn't very strong. Their favorite vegetable is celery, eating it first out of any salad and stealing it when they get the chance. First to interact with the Swirlop is unknown. However, it's hypothesized that humans are the first to interact with one. There have been no deaths reported from interacting with a Swirlop, unless you count dying from cuteness overload. I can just imagine these being super cute and fluffy bunnies with a giant swirl on its head. Despite this confirmation, some superstitious individuals believe that red-eyed Swirlops are cursed spirits. Swirlops are pretty domesticated, and around 43% of intellects have them as pets. Wow, that's pretty high. That's a lot of them having them as pets. Where is your thing walking? Okay, if you don't send a message in chat every like 5 minutes, your little blockling up above me will go away. A pack of Swirlops is called a spiral. I love that. They stay above ground during the summer, spring, and fall. They usually hibernate in their burrows during winter during the cold. Their lifespan's 15 to 20 years. Wow. It's a long-lasting pet and has no problem with population. Largest Swirlop ever recorded was 9 inches tall. This was measured during 98 AC after the collapse near a river in Alchem. Alchem, cool. I like that city as well. Did I say Alchem? There's some really cool stuff coming out of here. You know what? I need to have a separate page of all the cool ideas. Maelstrom Islands, or Maelstrom Fields, right? We also have the Novan Collider, and we also have Alchem. And I'm writing the Swirlop here because so far the Swirlop is my favorite creature by far. It's cute. I love cute creatures. Cute creatures are fun. Since Swirlops are loved globally, there's entire cemeteries dedicated to domesticated Swirlop that's passed away. They've been a nice part of urban IIsla for the past few centuries, and they'll continue to be for a long while. Absolutely. 3 out of 3. If I could give that a 4, I would, but I'm capping it at 3 so far. Right, that was such a fun read. That was really cool. I'm looking forward to more of these. Next, we have, by Code Nick Prime, we have Granite Biters. Close off these two. Oh, wow, look at this. Name Granite Biters. Scientific name, Aedes coziane? Something like that. Lifespan, 15 to 20 years for the female, 1 year for the male. Wow. Okay, average weight, average. I'm not going to read the specific details. Oh, actually, I do need to read. The height is around a meter tall. So it's about a meter tall, 78 pounds. Wow, that's going to be fairly heavy. It's like a dog. I think a dog's weight, a very big dog. I think it's a very big dog. Oh, that's right. Increase the point limit to 4. I might need to, actually. You know what? I'll increase the point limit to 4 and give the previous one a 4. So we have 1, I'm grading this on a 1 to 4 scale instead of a 5. Ecology and habitat. A preferred environment of a granite biter is an establishment. An establishment. Okay. Dietary needs and habits. It will suck the juice out of a living being larger than itself, and it does so by injecting acid. The male also eats its father. What? More info in the biological section. The biter covers itself in granite. Okay, so it covers itself in granite. The thing is, it's a parasite. It's just that simple. The insect has little to no intelligence whatsoever and is therefore unable to create any semblance of social structure. Any semblance social structure. Domestication. There have been attempts to train some sort of biological weapon. Ooh, that could be interesting, but those either failed or were shut down due to lack of funding. Yeah, I would assume it'd be very hard to domesticate something that's a parasite, even though it's a great idea for a bioweapon, but not very easy. Although it hasn't been domesticated, the acid it creates is very flammable and is used in infernos and blazes. Ah, infernos and blazes, these are the in-game weapons. I like that a lot. Extinction status, not extinct, no kidding. We're still using it. Anatomy and morphology. Okay, wow, this is very detailed. The body is covered in granite chunks. They have 1 pair of wings, an antenna, and 3 pairs of legs. That's a really big granite biter. These are like giant bugs that you get out of nightmares. Like a meter large. That's huge. Man, these things are scary. These things are scary. Although it appears to have 4 eyes, 2 of those are for storing acid. Oh, they've also got a long pointed tube that folds into the underside when not in use. Abdomen is transparent in places that granite does not cover it. The granite biter's 2 large compound eyes that detect heat. Okay, so they're heat seeking. They recognize few shapes and a few colors. 2 sensitive antennas that detect air movement and changes in air composition. Genetics and reproduction. I'm going to skip these. These are good, but I don't think they're going to impact. Mainly what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a visual of behavior and stuff like that. Actually, this might be important because I'm not exactly sure how many of them have genetics and reproduction in there. So let's see. I'm gonna skip the genetics and if you have it, I'm gonna skip it for now because I don't think it impacts their behavior and my perception of it too much. But this one, I'm gonna give this a solid. I'm giving this one a solid 3. Granite biters, also for time reasons as well. Reproduction is a huge focus of that one. Okay, if you guys say it's a huge focus, I'll go ahead and read it. Right. Female makes 10 small holes, lays up to 50 eggs. The eggs can have 20 to 1 male to female ratio. Okay, so there are a lot more males in the population, but they live shorter. Okay, after the first 11 months, the female will start growing and produce eggs. The acid glands dissolve. Okay, so that's female, right? After the male hatches, it eats the male. After the male hatches, it eats the male, protecting them. Okay, after it eats its father, it finds a suitable piece of granite that hasn't been excavated, proceeds to hollow itself out, covered in granite. So crab-like, right? Grab some resources, use it to cover itself for protection. After the female hatches, it breaks down the granite it was born in and covers itself with it, and then it preys on the first creatures. And then after, okay, wow. Female usually dies because it was eaten by a predator. Wow, that's pretty good. Okay. I'm going to give you, that was the granite biters for prime. I'm going to give you a 3. I'm giving you 3 points for that one. Okay, a shorter one for Discord. And y'all can see this, I don't have to switch anything. Yep, that's right. The Axoi, setting rarely found in the wild. They live in solitude and seldomly hung in packs. They like to be alone. Found in any landscape, but are spaced fairly far apart, having their own territory. Unknown lifespan. They can grow up to more than 3 arms lengths. Okay. Weight unknown. Description: they resemble salamanders, cute, flying little floating creatures that are extremely rare. The history behind the Axoi are shrouded in mystery. Okay, are there 1 eyes? Okay, I assume that 2 eyes means it's plural, and 1 eye means it's singular. That's what I'm assuming. However, by some force, they choose who their owners are. People like these are extremely rare. It's known that the Axoi choose their owners by their needs, but have mainly chosen the unknown. Okay. We don't know. It's redacted. The Axoi resemble a cross between an Axtol. What's an Axtol? I'm not exactly sure. Let's have a look. What is an Axtol? Oh, okay. That's what I thought. This was when you said Axoi. This is the image. This is the image that came to mind. This is very much the image that came to mind. Perfect. How much you can't currently see how much money you have. I must have accidentally commented out those codes. Can you customize them? Yes, that's what the shop is going to be for. Yes, it will definitely cost some. And yeah. So back to the Axoi. Axoi resemble a cross between the Axolotl and a sea snake. Okay, but they fly. They're cute little flying floating creatures, but grow up to more than 3 arms length. I think that's a maximum size. Okay. Smooth skin, slightly scaled, thin whiskers protruding near its mouth. Several documented species, mainly differentiated by color and shape of their tail or fins. They breathe flame or fire. Okay, so they're fire breathing. Wow, it'd be incredible to have those as a pet. Some have thorns or spikes that protect them. Other species have thicker or different skin, spotted, striped, but most of the Axoi are singular colored. They're blue. Okay, so there's blue-tailed Axoi, mainly found in different shades of blue, white, and sometimes gold. Their tails are distinct between a royal blue color, which is usually mixed with a hue. They breathe a white to gold colored flame. They resemble more sea serpents. While they're scaly, they have medium wings and usually spotted and are expanded to fly. Okay. Of course, there are many other types, but should I list them for you? Most of them don't have legs, but rather float and fly in the air with their streamlined bodies. They're mysterious, curious creatures. They live in solitude, and they tend to lay dormant until a great presence disturbs their rest. Hugs the Axol gets cooked. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it says that they get to choose who their owners are. I mean, imagine having a fire-breathing salamander, a flying fire-breathing salamander as a pet. Now that's certainly gonna take some care. I'm giving this one 2. I'm giving this one 2. Right, next one for the kitchen and the Nova. Also, I think at the end of this, I'm going to choose my favorites and then grant bonus points based on that. Then I'll give like 5 bonus points to like my top 3 favorites. And right now, the Swirlop is definitely my favorite. I still love the Swirlop. Granite Biters are actually up there. Right now, my top 2 are the Granite Biters and the Swirlop. Basically, if I remember them and they're if they're memorable enough to me, they're probably going to be in the top. Right. Next one's a problem. Okay. Let's figure out what is this problem. It doesn't have a name. Nickname. It's a problem, and that's a big problem. Okay, description. Massive shark-like creature, 10 kilometers in length. Whoa, this is huge. This is bigger than some islands. These creatures feed through filter feeding in a similar way to basking sharks. They're a pasty gray and have a pale pink interior to their mouths. Not that this is known by the inhabitants of IIsla. I mean, if you really know the color of the inside of their mouths, you probably shouldn't be alive, especially if it's 10 kilometers in length. This is a massive creature. They're surrounded by huge storms caused by the liquid and air expelled from their mammoth gills. These storms destroy and tear apart anything that's unlucky enough to be sucked in. Behavior. Due to their massive size, they are slow-moving and keep travel to a minimum. They're not aggressive unless provoked, where they actively suck the life out of anything around them into its gaping maw in a fit of rage. These things, like, even if something's 100 meters long or 200 meters long, and that is huge, 10 kilometers long is... like, if you're looking at the front of it, you can't see the end of it. This is an island eater. This is an island eater. Behavior, due to their massive size. Yep. Some band together, such as the group that makes up Maelstrom Fields. Okay, so they're probably hide in Maelstrom Fields. Again, Maelstrom Fields coming up again. I think it's the same author. Interaction encountered in Maelstrom Fields, but no one knows this. And rarely throughout IIsla, it's symbolized by a massive hurricane like storms and leaving one's teeming areas barren. When people see one coming, they often say this by, "Oh no, that is a problem," or "Sir, there's a problem coming this way." That's why it's called a problem. A very few amount of people have seen the people that see them escape alive. These encounters are very rare, as it's theorized there are less than 100 alive in the entire IIsla at any one time. Most of which are living in the Maelstrom Field. I see. Wow, these are big. Okay, it's definitely a problem. You definitely don't want to meet one of these. I'm gonna give this one 2 points. 2 points for the Nova here. Wind spirits, flying energy-based jellyfish, the Spiritus. Ooh, I like this. I like where this is headed. I usually scroll down to check how long I have to read, so I know how fast I have to skim through it. And we have been streaming for 50 minutes. So it's already been like 40 minutes of me reading, and we have gotten through not a lot of submissions. I just want to see how many more do we have to go through. Oh, wow. You know what? Most likely there's going to be a part 2. To this. I'm going to get through as many as I can tonight, and then we'll work on the live streaming tools after this, and then we'll do part 2 tomorrow. How does the giveaway work? Go into Discord, join a faction, and every now and then I have a giveaway, and then you can claim a Steam key based on it. Right, I was at Wind Spirits. go back to my wind spirits. Okay, Spiritus Ventus, commonly known as wind spirits, are energy-based beings that float through the skies like flying jellyfish. They harness the power of the winds that propel them and can release it as a powerful burst of kinetic energy to escape or harm predators. Wind spirits have no brains or organs, but are formed near weightless cells that act as proto-batteries. Excuse me. Wind spirits are born fully transparent, an evolutionary trait that allows the young to hide from predators. As they mature, they take on the color of their surroundings. Mature wind spirits can be anywhere from light blue to dark gray. This means that they're more easily found during extreme weather changes, as a light blue wind spirit stands out in front of a storm cloud. Okay. Wind spirits can move their body into different forms to create primitive rudders and wings in order to more easily navigate the sky. Their spiritum, I assume that's the plural of the spiritus, are born through a process similar to cellular mitosis. When a spiritus reaches maximum size, it splits into 4 parts. Each newborn spiritus uses its energy reserves to propel itself in a different cardinal direction. This ensures the species spreads throughout the world. Another method of protecting the species. That's smart. That's a smart way of protecting itself. While wind spirits can survive on wind alone, their diet can be supplemented by sun rays. The spiritum who grow in sunny region have been noted to grow nearly twice as fast, but their kinetic bursts are proportionally weaker. As beings of pure energy, the spiritum are widely sought after by all flying animals. Unlike other animals in the food chain, they provide 0 energy loss after consumption. So I assume you really can't eat them. Oh, never mind, you can eat them. They're amazing for eating. Hunter birds will fly for days on end, hoping to find the ultimate meal. If a spirit is found, it will use its built-up energy to hide in a nearby cloud. If there's no nearby cover, the spirit will attempt to kill its hunter. Because of the camouflage and wind attacks, the greatest danger Spiritus Ventus will face isn't a flying predator, but its own home, the wind. During large storm, powerful downdrafts can send wind spirits hurtling out of the sky. If they land on the ground and avoid any predators, If you land on the ground and avoid any predators, a spirit will build up energy from the storm and blast out of its hiding place once the storm has passed. If the spirits land on water, they die immediately. Oh, too much water will short circuit a wind spirit, unleashing a burst of electrical energy. The spirits have evolved to survive rain and humidity, but can't survive large bodies of water. They have a long relationship with sentient creatures. Some ancient religions worship them as gods or angels, while legend says that the first flying islands were powered by trapped spirits. Early batteries and floatrons were based on dead wind spirits scientists had dissected. Nowadays, wind spirits and most scientists have a symbiotic relation. Spiritum will follow islands in small packs, attacking flying creatures of all kinds. The sentients then kill the predators, protecting the spirits and harvesting valuable resources. Interesting. It's a symbiotic relationship. Oh, you literally said symbiotic relationship. However, this relationship has been abused. Some islands break the mutual trust and capture the wind spirits who come to them for protection, using them to fire weapons using them to fire powerful wind weapons that push away enemy projectiles. Honestly, I wasn't completely sold on this idea until you mentioned that. I think it's a really interesting. I'm still having trouble visualizing what they might look like. Like in my mind, I'm just having like a giant gust of wind. It's a little bit hard to visualize. It's a cool idea, and I like the idea of how they split up and stuff. So for that, I'm going to give this a 2. 2 out of 4, pretty respectable as well. It's a flying. Okay, so it's a jelly. You mentioned jellyfish here. Okay, you did say jellyfish there as well. So it's a jellyfish-like structure. I'm still gonna give this a 2. I'm still giving this a 2. And that's 2 more points for the Prime faction. Right, Isaac, Nova, the Kolok. I should just open this and read it. Right. The Kolok, pronounced Kolok. Okay, so it's the Kolok. He's usually found in caverns, rarely above ground at all, unless there's high vegetation or another creature to hunt. They tend to hide in dark spots, waiting to pounce and brutally murder their next prey for sustenance. Wow, that's awesome. Okay. The Koloks have been around since the Void threat. There aren't many left. Only about 6 islands have been reported to house Koloks. The rest have had remains or nothing at all. The Kolok is pitch black, usually developing many scars during its lifetime due to its recklessness. Their skin is very wrinkly, and it has many callous spots on places like its elbows, knees, and chest. They have vicious antlers, reptilian eyes, being either brown, green, or red. Some varieties even have wings. Although they're too heavy to fly, they use them for long-distance jumps. Super thick spine, which helps it survive fatal falls or accidents. I'm still not exactly sure how big they are. Found in caverns. I'm right now thinking they're kind of like they kind of hide in caverns and they just like maul people who come in. Uh, Very hostile, very hard to escape if you provoke it. The Kolok is carnivorous. I almost said cavernous. Carnivorous. Their favorite kind of meat is cow. So throwing a stake its way could give you a chance to escape. The Kolok is a predator, usually staying in packs of 3. It attacks by pouncing on its enemy, then repeatedly smashing them with their antlers. It's nocturnal. It's the only time they're vulnerable. Oh, so during the daytime they're vulnerable. A peculiar event recorded about Koloks is their fear of rustling leaves. Because of this, autumn is the safest season to travel in a Kolok-inhabited island. Koloks have been studied by tape to slowly back up from a wisp of leaves and reluctantly swat their claws at them. Interactions, they should be avoided at all costs. Very few have made it out of their grasp once they've interacted with one. Impossible to domesticate, only one man had tried to keep it as a pet. He failed horribly, of course. I love that. As a matter of fact, Koloks are part of the food industry, which is one of the main reasons why there aren't very many of them left. Kolok meat sells for a fortune, enjoyed mainly by Tellurians. I absolutely love the lore you're creating here. This is literally, like, all of the lore we're creating in this 1 week is, like, what would take me months. I absolutely love it. I'll probably be adding reference to these in the public lore, and probably links to your Google Docs as well. Many dishes that include kolok, like kolok stew, kolok kebabs, and even kolok jerky. Koloks are exceptionally hard to hunt down, so whoever can sell one must have luck on their side. Yeah, they kill things. They kill things very much. So it's like trying to hunt a lion for its meat. You don't, because it will, or bears. Actually, I think you can. It's just, you need to be clever about it. I like these guys. I like the Koloks. Still not completely sure about what they look like their general shape and size, and how many legs they have. But I'll give this a 2. It's a solid 2. Right. And I like it. Gradon. Right. Gradons are flying creatures. They like to form groups of 3 to 5. They live in the bottom of humid and mountainous islands. They're herbivorous. I feel like I'm saying that word wrong. Herbivorous. No, that sounds even worse. Herbivorous. Yeah, they're herbivorous. I'm not even sure that's a word, right? Anyway, but their beak is very strong and capable of breaking full-grown trees in one bite. Okay, so flying creatures, I'm thinking eagle right off the bat. Like eagle type, since we have beak. And they're probably large since they can break full-grown trees in one bite. I like your spelling of that. Their favorite food are hard and fibrous plants from tropical biomes like jungles and swamps. The Gradions consume pebbles to help digest the food. Ooh, that's interesting. I think there's an animal in real life that does this. Pretty sure. That seems like something a normal animal will do. Eating fish can make them sick and can lead to death if ingested in high quantities. They prefer to starve than eat fish. Their head is long and full of wrinkles, and that they're a difficult ability to turn their head around. Okay, so not an owl. Their eyes are dark red, can't see very far, so they need to communicate with each other in order to navigate the sky. Soft fur, with some scales under the wings, live up to 70 years. Their hives are located at the bottom of an island, where they have made an oval shape out of sticks and amber. When they fly, they emit a psychic sound from the wind resistance of their wings capable to make humans mad. Their way to communicate is only through the psychic sounds because they don't know how to shape sounds with their throat. They're very immune to tropical diseases. Humans found a way to control this creature threat by using Gradon fur helmets or amputate their own ears. Oh, because then you can't hear this stuff. Prime spam so much they converted weapon factories into meat canning factories. Wow. Throwing the shade. The Gradons are neutral to humans unless they see a human eating meat or fish, and they consider that an act of hostility. They are used to scout areas and to transport goods to nearby islands. However, they aren't used in combat because they get scared by explosions. The sounds hurt their ears. They are also a symbol that represents the insanity of society, but also the power over exotic creatures. Wearing apparel made of full Gradon fur give a positive opinion to them because they think you're one of them. Okay, so they're around our, if they think you're one of them, that means they must be around our size as well. But beak is very strong and capable of breaking full-grown trees. Now that is some beak that they have. When they attack, they don't stop until the target is killed unless there are explosions, and they embowel the corpse to make sure it's dead, although they don't eat the meat. When dead, you can extract their blood, bones, and meat. Meat's toxic to most creatures and can cause deformations or mutations on direct contact. Blood can be extracted and distilled into a known chemical that increases immunity to various diseases and blood filtration. Also causes hearing losses. Bones can be melted into a dust that can be used as a fuel source or a drug that causes dementia and brain damage. It seems like no matter what you do with these guys, they're gonna kill you in one way or another. If you eat them, you die. If you drink them, you die. If you melt them into a dust, you have a fuel source, but then you can turn into a drug that causes you to die. If they drink human blood, why would they be drinking human blood? They will feel a hideous pain and attack a nearby human until they eventually die of organ failures. If you've reached this far into description and didn't find any of this normal, please consider searching for medical help, or don't if they prescribe you gradient bone dust. Ha, very, very nice. It can be used as a drug. And if there's someone better than the prime guy, 5% chance for someone that is better than prime human. What? Oh. Okay, well, that was a very interesting read. I'm going to give this one a 2. 2 points for the strike for that one. Ooh, Cloudian. And I read, I think Sume said that it synergizes with the, what was it? It was the Spiritus, I believe. It was the Spiritus. It was either Spiritus or a Problem. Word, Cloudian. Setting. Cloudians are, or was it the Violet Imp? One of those. Cloudians are sentient cloud creatures that come in various shapes and sizes. They can form from nothing, but once formed won't disappear naturally. Smaller clouds result in smaller Cloudians. Description. A Cloudian, while unique, will fall into one of these categories, which can be identified by their color. Pale yellow Cloudians are approximately 1 meter tall and are playful and harmless. White Cloudians are even smaller, but appear in large counts, so large numbers. They interfere with weapons they're close to, making them misfire. Yellow Cloudians are 4 meters tall and spherical. They seek enjoyment in blowing creatures off islands with their hurricane breath. Oh, that's a psychopathic animal. I mean, okay. Honestly, if you were an animal with such a large breath, that would be funny. But, I mean, imagine blowing like swirlops. They're so cute. And they just go flying off the island. I can see that being really funny to watch, though. I can see that being really funny. Green, red, and gray blue Cloudians are aggressive. Green ones are 7 meters tall, seek out machines to eat them by melting their metal with their acidic breath and then inhaling the machines. Red Cloudians are 20. Wow, these sound like they're all sorts of Cloudians. Red Cloudians are 20 meters in tall, have high physical strength. They hunt creatures up their own size. They're also toxic, so they're a pain to deal with, as upon death, they explode in a 100-meter sphere of toxic mist. Gray Cloudians are bigger than 25 meters large and generate strong inward wind currents. They shoot their target with junk they suck up. Should they suck up a pale yellow Cloudian, they'll turn it into a deadly projectile that explodes on impact. Blue Cloudians are massive creatures that are hundreds of meters tall. They attack anything that moves, which is a lot, since they use a vortex of wind to shoot out as a weapon. Further, they can create more Cloudians out of humidity. There are rarer forms of Cloudians that have been sighted, including a cloud dragon and a 3-meter tall humanoid that lands on islands and grows heavier and heavier, up to several dozen tons. Interactions. Cloudians are a force of nature and are dealt with as such, though the larger ones are a major threat. Mercenaries are reluctant to hunt them, as other than the poison of a red one or acid of a green one, almost nothing can be gained from doing so. Okay, this is interesting. They seem like they have a lot of, they're little cloud creatures. I assume that they are created of clouds. That they're literally like they're water mist, or whatever clouds are made of. Clouds are water mist, right? Or it's evaporated water, so I guess, wow, that's incredible. I'm gonna give this one a 2 because it's very extreme. It is certainly very extreme. So strike gets 2 for this one. All right, let's get this party primed. Okay, magician, finally a submission from you. I'm not sure. Did you submit something before? I don't think so. Anyway, name Alarum Eber. Setting, native to slightly damp forest with lots of fruit. Description, according to all the known laws of aviation, there is no way an Eber, I think it's an Eber, The Eber, of course, flies anyway because Ebers don't care what sentients think is impossible. Okay, so it flies using magic. Lovely. Eber body has 3 segments, each with a pair of thin legs on the body, with hair-thin spikes that it uses to hold onto surfaces. Okay. And a pair of membranous wings on the 2 hind segments. The wings are synchronized in flight. So 3 segments, each with a pair of thin legs, so it's got 6 legs. The wings are synchronized in flight, and the somewhat smaller hind wings connect to the forewings by a row of hooks along their margin, which connect to a groove in the forewings. So it's like back wings and front wings are connected. It has 2 compound eyes on its head and 3 simple ones on its body, allowing for great 360-degree vision. It has a pouch on its abdomen in the hind segment and a stinger at the end of the pouch, slightly lower to the center line of the body. So like a bee. So it's a bee with 3 body parts. I think bees have 3 body parts. Certain bees might. It uses the stinger to puncture and suck juices from the fruit it stores inside the pouch, where it, via biochemical process, transforms it into alarum. Not sure what alarum is. I think we'll find out. On average, an Eber is around 1 to 2 centimeters tall, 1 to 2 centimeters, okay, long, and about a centimeter tall, so pretty small. Although warriors are slightly bigger and the queen Eber is twice the size. It's colored in patterns of dark blue and light bluish purple. The thing is, that is wrong. We know how bees fly, but this bee is different. The Eber, oh, I see what you've done. It's like bee, but it's like backward, half backward. Its wings are too small. You see, I mean, it said its wings are too small to get its fat body off the ground, so it flies because magic. The alarum Eber is a what? A eusociality insect. It uses a mix of digested fruit and wood to build a nest on trees, usually spanning the gap between branches or connecting to other close trees. It's generally peaceful unless under attack. During winters, the hive combs together in a queen chamber to protect its queen with the warmth of the workers from freezing. Many Ebers die during such events. Oh, wow, it's like a sacrifice. Cool. It communicates with the other members of hive via dance by emitting and receiving low frequency sound. Is this kind of like bees? I think this is kind of like bees. That's the opening paragraph of the Bee Movie. How has no one noticed that? Which one? Is this one, possibly? It's the Eber. Is it the Eber? Yes, it's the Eber. Where was I? I lost where I was. Right, it's been found that radio confuses Ebers, disrupting their communication patterns, which can sometimes lead to members of the hive getting lost and dying. It has a few natural predators, mostly insects such as Dovecacus. Those beetles are small animals like the flute newt. Oh, I'm looking forward to figuring out what a flute newt is. Some bigger animals like oh wow, that's quite a number of animals. Magician, you better let me know what all these animals are, because they sound pretty cool. Sometimes do happen to damage the hives in pursuit of the sweet alarum. Okay, I'm assuming alarum is a type of honey now. Since these are kind of like bees, I'm assuming alarum's like a sweet, sugary substance. The alarum bee is a prime faction special domesticated insect. It produces alarum, the sweet, very soury undertones, bluish in color, used to make the prime exclusive alarum vine. Alarum can also be pasteurized and used as a type of honey for breakfasts. Sounds delicious. The nest's walls can be used as wax, which is used in the production of adhesives, candles, and much more. In order to streamline the production of alarum, the gardens of the loon cat trees, I'm going to write that down. The gardens of loon cat trees are planted and cultivated into the perfect environment, free of pests and predators like flute newt or those dovecacus beetles or special alarum hive farms. Throughout history, Ebers have been the subject of mythological and religious tales. Due to their bluish colors and produce some cultures saw them as the tears of the gods. Okay. Some had a legend with the sun god creating the world, touching the skies full of water. In that moment, legend says the water rejoiced and came to life, hence Ebers came to be. That's cute. Other cultures made up different stories of Ebers, guiding the characters through their journeys or serving some divine nature. Of course, none of these legends are true, but it does show that at least some of the time before the collapse, Ebers were widely spread in the world. I like these. I'm giving this one a 3. Another question about the blocking. Is there another model of them? There are quite a number of models, And well, in tonight's shop later, you shall see the first few models that are not blocky. We might see it, but they're fairly. I've priced them at what I thought is like okay, but they're fairly expensive. Ranges are from like 25 to 50 to 100 to 150 to like 500 for some of them, because some of them are really nice. And they're really, really nice. Okay, the Eber, I think I'm giving this one. I am giving this one a. I think I'll give this one a 3. This one's really nice. I like the Ebers. Now we have. Oh, I see. The Prime have got together. So we've got a Flute Newt by Cheesy Pizza. We've got the Ebers. What else was mentioned? There were some other animals mentioned. There was the Gedre Behon. Am I seeing that? Nope, that's not the right one. We also have the Beetle. Oh, here's the Gedre Behon. Wow. Wow, Prime is really working together for this one, which is definitely helping. Definitely gonna help them. I mean, working together definitely helps. Because you have all these stories and you've got yeah, it definitely helps creating an ecosystem that interacts with each other. Right. I felt water drip on me, and I'm like half nervous because my aircon used to leak like crazy before it got fixed. Right, the Flute Newt. It's a cute name. It's a very cute name. Flutes. Is it the Flute Newt or a Flute Newt? Right, flutes live in grassy places and have spread out a few trees useful for gliding. Also prefers Alarum Ebers to be around, because it eats them. Obviously, the Flute Newt lives for about 2 to 3 years. The average grove nest is around 5 to 8 inches and weighs up to 8 pounds. 5 to 8 inches, okay. 8 pounds, okay, seems about right. Body feels like coarse skin and differs in colors ranging from browns to greens. 4 legs, a tail, and a head. That resembles a salamander. Don't they fly? So it's like a larger flying squirrel. They have flaps of skin behind their front legs that they use to glide from tree to tree, and use their tail to steer to keep balance. That's right, it's a large flying squirrel. Flutes make up a variety of noises, ranging from the sound that resembles a grinding gear, which I assume when they're angry, or a high-pitched yelp. Yeah, I absolutely love the name, the Flute Newt. Behavior. Mostly solitary creatures that are active during the day, preferring to be alone. They come together to mate or sometimes unintentionally take down an Alarum Eber hive. They hunt and eat the Alarum Ebers by gliding from above for a surprise attack. However, they'll also eat any insect. Its only known means of escaping predators is to run. Flutes are shy little creatures that try to avoid other creatures at all costs. The only animals that they'll approach are the shrieking eagles, which they glide onto and ride for long distances. While on the shrieking eagle, they'll eat any insect that bothers the eagle. That's nice. That's nice. Some nice symbiotic relationship where it eats all the insects that harms the eagle, and in return it gets to get some nice long travel. Interactions, mostly harmless, just run away. They can be captured but show no signs of domestication, will not accept any food or water, either escaping or dying from starvation. When in the wild, flutes usually fall prey to the Barntuksnek or the Gedre Behon. Okay, so far we've got the Gedre Behon and the Barntuksnek, and these guys eat the Ebers as well as the Flute Newt. Alarum farmers use all sorts of protective measures and traps against the flute. Oh, I like these guys. I'm giving this a 3. Because I love the name. That name is the selling point here. Name is the selling point. And now we've got the Ebers, which are at the bottom of the food chain. Then we've got the Flute Newt, and now the Barntuksnek. The Barntuksnek, which eats the Flute Newts and the Ebers. Got a whole food chain in here. The Barntuksnek. Snek naturally prefers grassy fields where it can blend in, but can also live in your house. Okay. Body has a light brown color dotted green pattern on the sides with a white line on the top of its spine. It has a light and oily feeling scales that protect it from outside threats and from scraping off skin on sharp rocks and stuff. Okay. Okay, so it's scaly. It has very mean-looking flaps, intimidates enemies by opening them wide, and stores venom inside the flaps. When it shoots venom, it slowly closes the flaps. After the venom is shot, it can try it in order to track its victim. It can try it? Okay. With its dislocated jaw, it can feel the creatures of other movements nearby, like a snake. It also allows it to eat prey many times bigger than itself. Oh, it's a snake. It's like a snake, but I'm not seeing. I think it's a snake. It says a snack. I'm assuming this is a snake. You hope you get to see them once they're available. I won't be showing them all at the same time. I'll just be showing the shop every now and then, so you might want to save up. So I'll have some that are super, super rare. And they'll come every now and then. So up to you how you want to use your money. Right. Behavior. Snake is a nocturnal. I think it's a snake. This is a snake. It's a nocturnal creature. Creature is usually hostile unless it very recently ate something and is digesting it. Wanders around in search of small animals to hunt down, eats any animal it can find, and is able to spit paralyzing venom. Most prey include flute newts, axoi, swirlop, and Greydon eggs. Wow, you just included everything previously, though Greydon. What's the Greydon? I can't remember what the Greydon was. What was the Greydon? Oh, I'll look it up after. It eats a lot of things. After gobbling up a prey, it climbs a tree and wraps itself onto it and digests the prey. Okay, it's hunted by the Gedre Behans for its resistant to the paralyzing venoms. Ah, that makes sense. If it's resistant to the venom, then it's probably going to be eaten. The Barntook does not seek people, so if they don't get close, it ignores them. If they get close, it tries to intimidate it by standing about a meter high and opening its flaps. If they retreat, Sneck goes back into its business. If they don't, sprays its venom in the general direction of the closest person. Then it tries to swallow whoever hits, paralyzed from the venom, although rarely, but people do kill the snake to make either the anti-venom or just to get rid of it. Snake, you see, it doesn't taste good. Otherwise, people try to avoid it. If it pins you down with a wide-tip branch or something, you can eliminate most of the threat for it. Where do you type the commands? Also, how do new people know how to use the commands or what shop is? The Google Doc in this video description will be edited to include all of the commands and a structure of how this works and stuff like that, and have all the details about what exactly is going on with this stream. Why is there block links above me wandering around? Yeah. So, it's basically a snake. The Barntook snake is a snake. I think I'm giving this one a 2. I'm assuming this is a prime, right? Yeah, I'm giving this one a 2 because that name is very hard to say. Also, it's very snaky. But 2 is respectable. 2's pretty good. Now we have the Gedre Behan, which this one eats the Barntook snake. This one eats the Barntook snake. Also, who reads the description? Well, I'll mention it. If someone asks, like, what on earth is it, I can just say, check the description out, instead of having to instead of having to just tell people every single time, basically. And yes, when you chat, you summon your own blockling. Setting: the Gedre Behan lives in grassy fields or near small forests. Description: up to 30 centimeters tall, up to 30 to 50 centimeters, 30 centimeters tall, 50 centimeters long, rodent-like creature with dark fur and sleek, thick skin. Very sturdy and agile. Can escape almost any grasp. It has very slow metabolism, which combined with its thick skin protects it from toxins. Omnivorous, eats up on nuts, fruit, snacks, pups, and eggs of other creatures. Sometimes it breaks in the Eber's hive for the sweet, sweet alarum. It seems like everybody wants this alarum. It's like the delicacy, like animals want it, intellects want it, everybody wants the alarum. Sharp claws and teeth allow it to eat up to most foods as well as defend itself from predators. What noises does it make? Cree, cree. Okay. I'm not going to try to make that noise. Behavior: although being small of its size has an absolute resolve, it's almost immune to intimidation, and when threatened, would go on creatures several times its size. This guy's brave. There were even some records of it standing up to a Kolok. Okay, so Koloks are rather large. Wow. The only creatures that it successfully hunts down are Behans, that successfully hunts Behans down are the Shrieking Eagles. The Gatlock Fadu. Okay, these names. The Gatlock Fadu do hunt Behans quite often to varying results. Meanwhile, the Gaedon itself preys on the Barntook snake since it's very resistant towards its venom. Instead of being paralyzed, it just falls asleep. The venom effect requires some time to take hold, enough for the Gedre to kill the snake. As a result, it then falls asleep and wakes up to a freshener. Isn't that lovely? If it doesn't get stolen. I mean, another creature could just come up and steal it. Interactions: it doesn't interact with people and doesn't mind or just goes away. It generally reacts to other creatures if it hunts them or if they're attacking it. As it stands, most sentients aren't even aware of the Gedre Behan's existence. Sometimes they find out about it via some nature examination, usually due to a sheer shock seeing a small underdog creature bravely and often quite successfully opposing a much bigger and stronger predator. I'm thinking these guys are badgers. I'm thinking these are badger-like. I think badgers do stand up to smaller. I'm not exactly sure. I like this. I like the Gedry Bayon. I'm giving this one a 2 as well. I am also giving this one a 2. Right, next one we have the Gatlock Fadu. What does it do? The Gatlock Fadu, they hunt the Bayhons, but generally, okay, varying results, meaning sometimes it'll lose, sometimes it will win. I'm thinking these are alligators, just by that name, Gatlock. There are 4 types of Gatlock. Oh wait, several varieties of these species span across IIsla and its biomes, ranging from relatively smaller white Gatlocks in the snowy tundra regions to the bigger forest gray Gatlocks. I'm guessing these are alligators. There are 4 types of Gatlock Fadu, but they're generally smart and share the same features. They have powerful jaw and sharp teeth. They also have claws, but not as powerful as their jaws and their sharp teeth. They have papillae on their tungles, which allow them to clean their dense fur. So it's a furry alligator. The big gray Gatlock Fadu lives in the woods, gets up to 1.8 meters in length. Okay, so about our height, and 1.2 in height. Okay, so it's more. I'm thinking more of a bear now. I'm thinking more of it's not, but it doesn't really stand up. It's like a bear. Okay. It's like a large bear, like a horse-sized bear. It's brownish, not as big as the gray, much skinnier. It evolved into being faster than the other types, and having more stamina due to its environment hindering its ambush techniques. It makes it somewhat smarter, but generally weaker than other types. The jungle Fadu has a greenish blue fur, blending in with environment. Basically, it's more of a wolf. Okay, more of a wolf. Yeah, okay, I can kind of see that, but it's really big teeth. I guess the visuals is what I'm trying to get at. Like, what does it look like as well? But okay, if you say wolf, I can kind of see the wolfiness. Jungle Fadu, more ambush focused than the other types. Forest types evolved more for the ambush, having low power, low stamina. Desert one evolved for more pursuit, having higher stamina. Meanwhile, snowy types are about energy preservation. So they're like bear wolves. Since we've got like different types, like black bear, brown bear, white bear, or polar bear. Behavior, pack predator. However, forest and jungle types also act as lone hunters quite often. While the snowy types have a low pack number, desert types who can't rely on the ambush have to use a more strategic approach, can range a pack as high as 30. Packs have various social structures, most commonly have a pack leader and at least one scout. Whenever encountering anything, a scout would retreat to the pack to deliver the information. They hunt on various animals they find in their locale, of a smaller size such as a swirlock or the Gedry Bayon, and bigger size like Kolok. Am I saying that right? Kolok, yes, Kolok. Gedry Bayon was the I'm having trouble like remembering which ones are which, right? The Gedry Bayon, let me quickly ever remember. It was our I can't remember what, it's a giant rat basically. That's right. Okay. Where were we? The only somewhat major threat they face from the flying predator animals, like the shrieking eagle. I want to hear about the shrieking eagle. It's already got some interactions. They generally wary of humans, prefer not to interact with it. However, some subspecies have been domesticated as a companion pet, and even as a protective assault animal. So they're basically wolves, is what I'm getting from them. They're basically wolves. I'm giving this one 2 as well. I'm giving this one 2. Alright. The plants in the fridge. Okay, I know where this is going. This is from the short story a while back about the plants in the mad scientist's fridge. And so we're gonna get more about it. Okay, name, Bob, I guess. Setting, in my kitchen's fridge, unless I forgot to remove it from some unfortunate island. Description, it looks like my fridge, unless you open the door. If you do open it, then the first thing you'll see is some lianas dropping on the ground. Around 10 centimeters in diameter at the base and 3 centimeters at the tip. They're usually 2 meters in length, unless it's hungry and waiting to be fed. Yes, right, from the raid of Nadru Tagu. Unless it's hungry and waiting to be fed, in case the lianas... What is that? What does that even mean? Is that like a leaf of some sort? It's a vine. Ah, got it. It's a vine. Okay, so some vines drop on the ground. If it's hungry, then the vines become really big and thick. In this state, if the vines, I'm just going to say vines because it's easier for me to process in my head. In this state, the vines are a tiny bit shorter at 1.8 meters. Most of the fridge is occupied by its stomach, which looks like a green full water balloon. What noise does it make? It's a plant. The only thing you'll hear is splashing sound of a prey or the sounds of snacks getting wet from the stomach acid. So it's gurgly sounds. Behavior, relatively well behaved compared to Canis or a feline, as it's literally unable to move. Well, you don't say. It'll also eat you. So, I mean, not quite sure how well behaved it will be. In its core is a plant. It will attack you if you open the door without bringing some strong scented snacks to it. Doesn't show much of a preference for food, but still has a thing against cannibalism. I've tried planting them in the other, more lively place and not many have escaped its grasp. At all costs, it gets a stomachache if it eats people. Avoid at all costs. It gets a stomachache if it eats people. It can be domesticated if what you mean by domesticated is shoving it into a fridge. I mean, well-behaved and domesticated are rather loosely used terms. And no, it's not edible. The last rat that ate it started growing vines from its mouth before he threw it off the island. Just someone else's problem. Just get that out of here. It's gonna land on someone else's island or just to go splat on it. And this is by Nadru Tagu. Very nice. I'm giving this a 2. I'm giving this a 2. It's a good follow-up. It's a good entertaining follow-up for the previous one. Right. We have got the sky eel now. And whoa, look at this. Okay, scientific name. I'm not going to say that. It's the Anguilla. I said I was not going to say it, but I will say it. Anguilla aurolus. Anguilla aurolus. I advise breaking you down. Okay, whatever. Genders, none. Okay. Average lifespan, 15 years. Average height, 3 centimeters. I used to know inches and feet very well when I lived in the States. However, now that I'm in Singapore and everyone uses meters and centimeters, I'm more comfortable with centimeters. So 3 centimeters. Average length, 46 centimeters. Okay, so it's like a worm. I'm guessing it's a sky eel. Okay, of course, it's a sky eel. Average weight, it's weightless until it dies. How peculiar. Golden Age biologist. Ecology and habitat. Swarm goes to wherever the food is. Dietary needs and habits. So I'm assuming it's a sky eel. Eats the type of meat it can get its hands on, although their favorite food is the Spiritus ventus, which is the wind thing. The wind thing. It's like the Cloudian. The main predator of sky eels are flocks of metal eagles and the occasional Cerbovine watcher. Cerbovine watcher? Intelligence. No leader, they just follow around like a school of fish. Okay, so I'm guessing these are like skyfish. Body and color textures, silky smooth and night black. Social structure, the sky eels group into one big swarm. Uses their weightlessness properties would be helpful if you weren't eaten every time you got close. Every year, the health of the swarm is measured by scholars all over IIsla. It's a small eel with sharp teeth that can fly, eyes with color receptors. When an eel has an excess of food, they'll create a buddling. Okay, animal reproduces by budding. The eel remains a buddling for 2 months. It only takes a month after detaching from the parent for the sky eel to grow to the full size of an adult. You hope the funny part would make it a 3-pointer, but 2 is nice too. The funny part does add some value. This is somewhat what I remember and from what I learned in biology. Yeah, this is a decent eel. I'm curious how it's weightless, because that seems like something that could be exploited. I'm giving this one. There could be a lot more descriptions on this. I'm giving this one 1 point. 1 point for the prime. Right, next one we have, we've got I feel like Prime got together, and I was generally going through the Prime chats, but I probably missed a bunch of messages. I feel like Prime got together, and they each, came up with a bunch of stuff, and then created a structure on what eats what, and what interacts with what, and honestly, I've got to give some points to Prime for doing that. So at the end, I'll probably give some points to Prime, because this is pretty impressive how they're building off of each other's, and boy, is there a lot of Prime. That's Prime for the next 5 or 6 submissions. So, very nice. This live topic should be named Learning Biology with J-Wigs. Yeah, Learning Biology with J-Wigs. What do we have? Learning Fictional Biology with J-Wigs, because there are some creatures that, like the Ebers, that just fly using magic, because their wings are too small. Magic. I'm on to you. Yeah, I see you guys. I see you, Prime. Living up to the Prime spam that everyone keeps talking about. But it's some really good. It's some really good spam. It's not spam. If it's really good, then it's not really considered spam anymore. Like quality spam is kind of like, I think that's an oxymoron. I'm not a literary guy, so I'm not completely sure what the word oxymoron means, but I believe that's how you use the word. Anyway, the Serpentine Watcher drifts around the skies of IIsla. I almost said Isla. That's not how you say it. Usually steering away from the islands. Serpentine is a massive 40-meter diameter floating creature. It has a complex nervous system with 6 brains. 6 brains, ooh. A ruler brain responsible for general command of the creature, 4 advisors acting as its own personality that are in constant mental conversation with the dictator, and a spinal cord, and a dominator with a weaponized brain controlled by the ruler that tunes into and resonates the mind of living creatures in order to manipulate them. Okay. So I'm guessing, so this is, Watcher makes me, I'm thinking it's either a blob or it's an eel. It has a body shape resembling a balloon. Okay, so that helps. It's a giant blob. Or a beetle with 8 prolonged bony appendages for their legs would be. It has 5 eyes, 4 smaller ones controlled by an advisor brain, and the big one controlled by the ruler. Bone structure includes a skull, spine, and ribs. So it's a giant balloon. It's like an inflated... Okay. What noise does it make? Brr. Behavior. It floats around luring smaller animals with a psychic power. It mostly preys down upon wind spirits and cloudians, but can also chum on an unlucky greydon or another bird. When completely desperate, it tries to extract Ethereum from the surrounding and feast on it. It can generate a powerful psionic blast when threatened. This seems like a Pokemon. This is starting to seem more and more like a Pokemon. I'm pretty sure psionic blast is a Pokemon attack. I don't play a lot of Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure that's a Pokemon attack. When threatened, while barely damaging matter, it can damage or even kill living things. While not quite often it happens to be picked up by the metal eagles. The metal eagles. So we've got screaming eagles, I think screeching eagles, and metal eagles. It can get rid of 1 or even blast 2. But the high number of those usually rip the Watcher apart. Okay, so it can't use its attack too much. Interactions. The Serpentine Watchers prefer to stay away from sentients or their settlements. For many, try to hunt down their creatures for their bones and oils. Some have tried to study their psionic powers, but development has yielded no results. I'm giving this one a 1. I'm giving this one a 1 because these psionic powers, I feel, would be very, also it's a very strange creature. Not like I want normal creatures. I like strange, but this is very, very strange. I'm giving this one a 1. Actually, it's like 1.5. It's 1.5. It's you know what? I'll give this one a 2. I'll go ahead and give this one a 2. Barely a 2. It's got some interesting properties to it. So I'll give it a 2. Oh, now this is interesting. We've got a Mimic Island. We have a Mimic Island. How much more do we have to go? Ooh, quite a bit. I should have counted to keep track of how many submissions there were and how many I've gone through, so I know roughly where the halfway mark is. I think I'll go through, 5 or 6 more of these. And then we'll save the next one for another stream tomorrow because my mouth is getting very dry from talking this much. Right. And also, I'm not sure how entertaining it is for me just to be reading these. You tell me how entertaining this is. Even though it is nice, I'm very much enjoying it. Right, name Mimic Island. The Mimic Island finds a small to medium island to burrow in. It floats in and blends into it to look like an island. It salvages other island as it grows. Descriptions. The island mimic represents an antlion or a lacewing larva. The only antlion I know is from Terraria. Okay, I see. Okay, got it. That's what it looks like. It has a lifespan of hundreds of years. It varies in size from relatively small 10-meter-long creature to massive 100-meter-long monstrosity. It's a huge jar with regrowable teeth that allows it to inject a poison that liquefies the victim and allows it to suck juice from its prey. The creature is near blind but has a lot of tentacle appendages that detect movements of the ground and air around them. The creature has a full bone structure and the body is hard enough to burrow into the stone. What noises does it make? Wow, Prime really loves their noises. it makes an oomp 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 noise. Behavior: the mimic floats around the island it's burrowed in. When near another island, it tries to hurl eggs at it. Sometimes it would rip off a chunk of the island with the eggs planted in it. While burrowed, it creates various traps and lures. When it feels the presence of an unlucky prey, it jumps it from its burrow. Interactions: it doesn't distinguish its prey, so whenever an unlucky traveler comes down whenever an unlucky traveler comes down its island to rest or explore, it just attacks them like everything else. People don't hunt it down specifically, but try to destroy it whenever they come across one and have the opportunity to destroy it. Mimic Island, it seems interesting. It seems like it's just an animal that mimics that burrows within the island. So Mimic Island, not completely a Mimic Island, since I don't think it can control the island. It doesn't seem like it can control the island, but it seems very deadly. It's like the ultimate. It's the termites of an island. Like termites are your house, but this is for your entire island. Like I don't think you want to live in an island with this. With this thing. I mean, it kills, it liquefies its victims. Yeah, I'm giving this one a 2. Next one we have is the mimics never had to control. Mimics never had, when I think mimic, I'm thinking the chest mimics from Terraria, where it's kind of just like it's a chest, but it's not a chest. It's a fake chest. It just looks like one. But I guess it's more of a parasite. Yeah, when I think Mimic Island, I imagine a giant gaping jaw. I imagine the island like eating things. I'm not exactly seeing that with the Mimic Island. But I guess it could. I mean, we can always edit these. There's plenty of room for edits. Another prime. Ooh, wow, look at this. Volatus mortiferum. Volatus mortiferum. Volatus mortiferum. I'm going to call them, more commonly known as the Shrieking Eagle. Okay, here's the Shrieking Eagle we've been talking about for so long. Finally, it's about time. The largest bird of prey in the world, with a male's wingspan reaching up to 3.4 meters. What's truly astounding about the Shrieking Eagle, however, is that the front feathers on each wing are hollow and made of naturally formed metal known as shrieking steel. Okay. These metal tips allow the Shrieking Eagle to dive at great speeds and slice its prey. As the wind passes through each metal feather, it creates a high-pitched noise, giving the bird of prey its iconic sound of death. I love this already. Like, I can imagine some like islanders, and then you get attacked by these. I'm thinking if they group up, an attack by these guys can be absolutely terrifying. Shrieking eagles are typically white in color with a blue-gray underbelly. Although green-gray variants have been spotted, males have it makes sense for them to be whitish and bluish. That allows them to camouflage with the sky a little bit. Males have dark gray spots on their back. Adult males have a wingspan between 3 to 3.4 meters, with a weight between 19 to 22 kilograms. Adult females are smaller with the same proportions. To compensate for its heavy wings, the Shrieking Eagles have a large tail composed of dense feathers. The tail acts as a counterbalance and helps it steer. The eagle's immense weight means it cannot fly for a long time before tiring itself. A typical hunt is composed of 20 minutes, steadily climbing to approximately 23,000 feet, 5 to 10 minutes of searching for prey, and a final 30 seconds where the eagle dives and attempts to kill its chosen prey. If the eagle is unsuccessful in its hunt, it needs to rest before trying again. The Shrieking Eagle's iconic shriek seems like an evolutionary drawback at first, given that it alerts its prey it's hunted, but thousands of years have instilled a great sense of fear inside smaller animals. The shriek of the eagle's dive paralyzes them in fear. Disrupts their thoughts and actions, giving the eagle a valuable opportunity. Now, this actually makes sense. This makes sense a lot, right? When I was in the States, occasionally where we were, there were deer that would occasionally wander onto the road. And if you're driving at night, and it's literally like a deer caught, and that's where the term deer caught in the headlights. They literally just freeze. They don't move, and you hit them. Like, you would think animals, when they're terrified, would run away, but actually, this is really interesting. Terrified animals don't always run away, and I like the idea of this, that, you know, just the sound of it just causes animals to freeze up. It's like, oh no, what's happening? And then bam, they're dead. After hitting its target, oh, I missed one. Unlike other birds of prey, the eagle doesn't attempt to catch its prey with its claws. Okay. Instead, using the powerful kinetic energy behind its descent to slice its prey open. So it just dives, it just dives down really fast, and then just like It's like a giant knife flying through the air and then just dead. After hitting its target, the eagle will wheel around and wait, as victims often take several minutes to die. Exhausted but successful, the eagle will grab the corpse with its claws and fly to its roost. This seems really cool. This seems really cool. While the shrieking eagles, I can't, the scientific name isn't working for me. I'm just calling them shrieking eagles. While they're lone hunters by nature, every spring they meet up to mate. Groups of up to 50 eagles will gather around popular hunting spots before taking off. Each eagle flies up as high as it can to prove its strength. The females, being lighter, can fly higher than the males. They identify the possible mates by the gray spots on their back. Whichever male fowl is the highest is the prime mate. I assume that's because the higher you go, the faster you can dive down, the louder sound you make. Actually, I wish their dive was a part of their mating ritual, because that would be super cool. Like, I could imagine, like, during the mating season, some areas, you just get, like, shriek after shriek of these eagles trying to impress their mates. That would be super cool. Also, yeah, someone mentioned what happens if they two fight each other. That would be also really cool. Like, you could get two, like, flying up really high and then diving as fast as they can, and then, like, just before they hit the ground, they, like, attack each other. And that could be a really interesting dueling. That could be a very interesting duel to watch. Like, I can see some scientists just like, I'm absolutely loving the Shrieking Eagles. It is hyped up. It's been hyped up for the past few ones, and they are definitely really cool. Well written as well. Okay. Whichever male is the fowl is the highest, the more powerful than the others. Females begin their dive at the same time. Whichever one reaches... Oh, actually, so this is the females fighting for the males. Whichever one reaches the prime target first mates with him. When he's found the male, the females focus on the second highest male, going down in order. This guarantees that the powerful eagles will produce a couple powerful chicks. Once a female has been impregnated, she consumes large quantities of iron-rich dirt. Unwanted nutrients will pass through her digestive system, while the heavy metals absorbed by forming the eggs. Baby chicks are born with lumps of iron on their wingtips. Okay, so these are very, very... These are... I can see them being hunted as well. Because of the rarity. I can see them being hunted and then, like, their wings being framed up on... I keep hitting my mic. I move my mic. I can see them being hunted and then their wings being framed up on, like, someone's wall in their house. Probably, and because also it's probably like a sport to hunt these guys, because that sound is terrifying. As they learn to fly and dive, the extreme pressures slowly shape the metal to more aerodynamic forms eventually turning into shrieking steel. So basically, as they keep flying over and over again, the wind kind of blows away and they get more aerodynamic. Nice try hunting, you'd be cut into one piece, and you'd be cut into pieces. Exactly, that's the thrill of hunting these guys, is the danger is if they hit you, you dead, and you're their next meal. But if you hit them first, especially as you hear the sound coming down, it could definitely be a fun sport. Or I can even see it being a possible death sentence, death by Shrieking Eagles. They, like, tie you to man, the Shrieking Eagles are awesome. I love them. Shrieking Eagle has no natural predator, although it has a symbiotic relationship with the flute newt. That's right, the flute newt. Being too small to hunt or eat, the Shrieking Eagles ignore the small critters and allow them access to a valuable resource. Small bugs trapped in their feathers, killed by the pressure of the dives. Instead of feeding themselves, the flute newts groom the eagles. That's cool, that's cool. What if your bullet just blocks off their wings, or your arrow? Yeah, that's also the danger, is if you hit their wings, it doesn't really do much to them. It would probably dent them, and it would probably hurt them quite a bit. I mean, they'd back off, certainly, but you wouldn't kill them. Several attempts have been made to domesticate them, but they've all failed. I would hope so. Like, an animal like this, I do not want this domesticated. The Shrieking Eagle is a large wild animal and sees sentient creatures as nothing more than a food source. Advancements in technology, particularly in flare guns, have taught the eagles to avoid inhabited islands. Only the most desperate of them will attack small islands. This is definitely... Shrieking Eagles are definitely a 4-pointer right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a... Shrieking Eagles are awesome. I love that as it comes down, it has the noise. Oh, I can see that. I can see that being absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Like, these guys are probably the reason Tellurians don't like to go outside. Since Tellurians are, smaller, they can easily be mistaken for prey and easy prey. These guys are probably the reason Tellurians don't go outside very much and prefer to live underground. This is definitely 4 points. 4 points for that. Very, very well written and very entertaining. This is awesome. Right, the next one we've got is the Okrama Loon. Right, yes, I'm currently signed in. Yes, I know, thank you very much. Right, grab a sip of my water. Right, the loon lives in a variety of biomes, ranging from the tundra to the tropical forest. While often associated with forests, many loons live in transitional areas between forest and the prairie. The creature has a high diversity of species, with some being extinct. The loon is a medium herbivore, ranging from half a meter to 1.5 meters in height, okay, and half a meter to 1 meter in length. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what type of animal is this based on. What type of animal is this based on? Also, yes, for those of you who are just joining us, as you can see, we have block links up above. If you type something in chat, you will also be earning a special currency that's currently not being shown, but you will also earn a currency every now and then. The currency will be added to your account. Also, you may see some people are sand, some people are dirt. If you type in !shop, you will automatically purchase a completely free dirt skin. And then if you type in skin, you can switch between a random skin. But there's only 2 of them, so it's yeah, there you go. I can see more people having the dirt. There you go. Where's your money counter? Money counter is currently, I might have accidentally commented it out. And we'll find out what happened to it. We'll find out what happened to it in the stream right after this. And the reason why I'm not going to go through with all of these is because I'm getting really tired from talking. And hopefully when I stream later on, just development, I won't be talking as much as I am right now. Right. We have right, the loon. I'm still trying to picture what type of creature is the loon like. Like, does it stand? It's like a penguin where it stands on its little feet, or we'll see. Okay, I think that's a very important. If you want to go ahead and edit your next submissions just to give me a general idea of what I can picture in my head or what other people can picture in their head as well, you can go ahead and do that. I need some more water. Right. The loon is a medium herbivore ranging. Oh, I already read that part. Right. It's got a 5 centimeter diameter yellow dots across its body. Okay. Slightly curved horns on its head. 2 longer ones, 2 shorter ones. Goes through forests and unintentionally collects crowns of leaves on small branches in its horn. It's a fast but not very smart creature. Lots of stamina, can run for quite some time. Male specimen's bigger than the female. Much larger exaggerated horns that presumably evolved as a way of a cosmetic mating indicator. Okay. Like most herbivores, it has horizontal pupils that not only give it good panoramic vision, but also evolved to provide night vision. Let's see. Okay, I'm still not. I think so. It's crawling on the ground, but it's a height. It's a rather tall. I'm thinking right now, anteater with horns, anteater with antlers. What noise does it make? Angry deer noises. Okay, I think I'm on the right track. It's like a deer. It's like a small mini deer. An herbivore deer. Can you make a picture to aid with what you see in your head? No, because reasons. As a prey species, the Okrama communicate through vocalization, body language, and scent. A loon uses its whole body, eyes, ears, nose, hair, and tail. Whether used singly or in combination, they serve to warn other loons of potential danger, identify family members, convey family relationships, help find mates. Okay, they do everything. Their entire body does everything, obviously. While being herbivore, loons sometimes eat up on small bird chicks. Excuse me. It follows prey mostly to the hunters and the animal predators such as the kolok, the lynx, gatlock fodder, and the granite biter. Okay. So lower on the food chain. People used to hunt this creature since the dawn of time. In fact, some speculate that the ability to hunt down such creatures have given most sentients the evolutionary nutrients that boost actually develop more brain power and become sentients. Loon tends to be wary of humans or other sentients, and in most cases, it just runs away. I'm giving this one a 2. I'm giving this one a 2. Prime have 2 more points. It's a leader. Jaywigs is scared to draw it. The entire point of these is that there is no drawing. So that I know each of us are going to visualize this differently, and that's going to come in hand later. That is very much going to come in hand later. How much more do we have? We've got 1. Maybe I think what I'm going to do is okay. I think what I'm going to do is we've already done quite a bit as well. We've done quite a bit. I think we're a little bit more than halfway through. I'm not entirely sure how far we are, but I think that's halfway through. Let's have a look. Yep, I think that's about halfway through. So I'm going to, actually, I can right click. You said right click and mark as unread. Oh, we have 18 left. And then if I go all the way up to the top, let's see how many we have. If I go all the way up to the top, that's a really interesting way of counting. If I mark as unread, we've gone through about half of them. So I think we'll leave it at that for now. I'm also going to I also want to mark where I am with my treasure emote. Where is my treasure emote? We just finished the Okra Maloon, so let's have our treasure. Right. I just use that one as a marker to mark where I am. Okay, so that's all that we've got for now. We'll have another stream tomorrow night at around the same time, and we'll also have a tester version tomorrow night coming out, which I'm a little bit excited for. It's gonna be fun. There's some fun new additions. So that's all we've got for tonight. Do stay tuned for the next. I mean, stay tuned it's a different stream. And I'm doing this so I can split up the different themes, so that if someone wants to watch the live stream for the faction challenge, they can. If someone else wants to watch the development, they don't have to they don't have to watch the entire thing all the way through. So we're going to end this stream, and I have a couple of things that I quickly need to do. So in about 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to be back with another stream. Might as well go to a full cam for this. I'll catch you all very shortly. Goodbye. Oh, thanks for watching as well.